Hey everyone, it's Shot back in their video, and we're going to be going over the last guild boss, the Fire Guild boss. Let's jump right into it. So here we are, and as you can see, I did end up taking number one spot with 1.5 million damage here. Now, in this video, I'm going to go over the top 10 characters I'd recommend in building a guild boss comp, but you're not going to get this high numbers on the Fire or the Wood guild boss without a Zitlin. I'm going to go ahead and showcase my run in just a moment here, but before we go ahead and diagnose all the top 10 and the Fire guild boss and all that good stuff, we're going to go ahead and talk about what makes the Fire guild boss different from the Wood and the Water, and that is this trait right here. As with all of them, when you're attacking the Fire guild boss, they're going to hit back with damage according to the guild boss's attack. So later on in the battle, this will start hitting for 1, 2, 3,000 damage every single time you're hitting them, which makes it a little complicated for characters that are attacking a lot, especially when you want them to attack a lot, which is why this is one of the hardest guild bosses in order to get high damage. But we have a little cheat code. So in the background, you can see our comp. We're using Erzag, William, Zitlin, and Yolanda. A huge surprise considering Erzag and Yolanda are off affinity, and Erzag is our only damage, and he's off affinity as well, which is really absurd to me how strong Erzag is. In my previous video on the Wood Guild boss, I definitely underrated Erzag as a character that can deal massive damage, especially paired with Zitlin. The only guild boss that he can be compared to in regards to damage is perhaps the Water one with Antinua, because Antinua deals massive damage, and Zitlin can't necessarily get the curse effect all the time. So that is interesting, but for this one, this is all revolving around Erzag. This guy smacks for 30, 40, 50k on a hit. You can see there he's hitting for 51k on a basic. Now, we're going to go through all the characters that you can use in a guild boss comp, but this is definitely, I believe, the best guild boss comp in general across all the guild boss. Even better than the new character Opal, even though she's very good. She just doesn't compare to someone like Erzag, who just completely breaks the common or the, I guess, natural guild boss teams. So we're going to go through the top 5 damage dealers first, and then go into the top 5 supports, just so you can kind of build a guild boss comp around them. And we're going to start with the damage dealer. Number 1 is going to be Erzag. As I said, this guy is responsible for so much damage. Even if you don't have a Zitlin, this guy can smack for around 800-900k damage. Let's say you're using this exact comp and replace Zitlin with another character. You could probably hit for more than that, but assuming all the damage that Zitlin goes or that Erzag does with Zitlin, just take that out. There's about 600k extra damage, so about 900k damage you can get with this guy. Pretty insane. Second one's going to be Guerrell. It's very nice to run him with a full water squad so that the boss constantly targets Guerrell and he counterattacks, stacking up his rage, gets that extra hit in, and he just goes ham on the boss. Very good damage for the Fire guild boss. Then we have 3, which is Opal, and I think Opal does a slight bit less damage than Guerrell, at least from my experience, especially if you have the Ascension 5 versus the Ascension 5 characters. Guerrell's Ascension 5 is so much better than Lydia's Ascension, or not Lydia, Opal's Ascension 5. And of course, she cannot stack her joint attacks like crazy because she can't kill anyone. So she's very solid, but Guerrell kind of takes a little bit of an edge. But Opal does come in at number 3 as someone who does very good damage to the guild boss. And oftentimes they're paired together because Guerrell can get all the bonus turns with the Asura state, and then Opal can go ahead and joint attack with him. And it ends up being very good combination between the two of them. Number 4 is actually going to be Lydia here, and Lydia is very good. With the dodge, she can go ahead and counterattack and deal a bunch of damage. That one's obviously way more RNG dependent than anything on this list. So if you get, let's just assume that you could dodge every single turn with her, she could do probably comparable damage to Guerrell and Opal and even past them if she's able to dodge often, but it's very difficult. Then we have Andre at number 5, and this is the slot where I think a lot of characters could fit, but I think Andre is kind of the best option if you're going to fit another damage dealer outside of the top 4. Erzag is literally not comparable, so he's like a step way above, and then it goes Guerrell and Opal, very similar, and then Lydia, and then Andre as the top 5 DPS. You can really build a solid comp around any of those 5. If you're using Erzag, you're going to need a specific comp. really play around Erzag and give him as many turns as possible with Agile Leap, with Yolanda, all that good stuff. And if you're going to do this comp on auto, the one behind me, you're going to probably get around 900k damage as well. I did this on manual just to see how much damage I can actually pump out. But on auto, I did about 900k, and I'll show that probably at the end on my run here. And then we have the top 5 supports, and we're going to start off with the absolute number 1, and this guy just keeps coming back and back for every single guild boss, and that's William. William increases the basic attack damage. He's going to get the counter attack. He's going to get the defense down. Between defense down on William and defense down on the spell, you can have 100% potential defense down uptime. And then, of course, the counter attacks really synergize specifically with Erzag well, because you can time the curse effect with the extra attack with the counter attack and then the extra damage from the passive from William. It just goes really insane and just works so well with Erzag. Not only that, but also Guerrell, Opal work very well with that as well, because you can stack the rage with the counter attacks, and you can do all the joint attacks, and the basic attack damage increases the joint attack damage from Opal. So he's just so good in all of the comps. Very necessary if you want to reach some very high numbers on the guild boss. Then we have Zitlin at number 2, and this guy, he's very much more of a combo piece than a just generally good guild boss character. If you're gonna put him in a team, you definitely want to build around him, meaning like you want to put him some damage dealers. You're gonna want to make sure that you're timing your curse right, whether or not that's kind of prepping for auto or if it's doing on a manual, because really his value comes out of his curse debuff on the 3rd skill, doing as much damage during that 2-turn window, and then proccing it for double damage. Very important. Then 3 is Yolanda. Yolanda comes in on every guild boss. Even on fire, I was kind of surprised. Now, she's on fire specifically, very specifically good with Erzag. If you're not running Erzag, I'd probably recommend you run a different support. But with Erzag, she can give the attack up 2 and the bonus turn, which is massive considering Erzag has, again, incomparable damage to any other damage dealer. If you run a Guerrell, you're going to be smacking for maybe at the most 25k. Erzag can easily reach 50, 60k with William and Yolanda buffs on him. Then we have 4, which is Brand, and Brand is an excellent choice, just giving that constant shield, making sure you're mitigating that extra damage that you're taking from the attacks on the guild boss, and also giving you that attack up 2 regularly throughout the battle, and defense up 2, which is quite nice. Overall, just a solid support. And importantly, if you use him with Erzag, he can counterattack, get the attack down, and just give you a little bit extra damage from your Erzag as well. Unfortunately, I don't have a Brand, so I can't test him in this spot and kind of do the same methodologies I did with Yolanda. He could be better than Yolanda in this spot. I just can't say for certain. I did more damage with Yolanda, and someone in my guild did a little bit less damage with Brand, so I decided to put Yolanda ahead of Brand here, just because of the experience that I've had. Then we have 5, and that is Hackrin. Hackrin's just going to be a generally good comp piece that you can just run, make any comp tankier, higher max HP, higher defense, and just overall just a very solid piece to run in any guild boss comp. And perfect timing here, actually, because we are pretty much ending the battle in the background for the guild boss, reaching my 1.5 million damage, as you can see in the background. And it's impressive to see Erzag come in and just smack guild boss like crazy for each and every guild boss, especially if you have that Zitlin with you. Very impressive. But you could use any of these team members to build you a squad that can get you to that level 20 foodie quest. And as I mentioned on every single guild boss video, really unfortunate that the guild boss rewards aren't actually better, because it's kind of demotivating to see kind of what score we're getting. 1.5 million damage here, level 34 chest, and we're still getting 5-star gear. You'll see here whenever I decide to end this battle that we go ahead and the rewards are pretty mediocre. So I'll go ahead and skip to the end here so you can see the damage and the rewards for this run and just kind of check it out. So we're at the end of the fight here. I ended up going a little bit longer just to see if I can push to the level 35 chest, but it was not to be. And you could see here, once the rewards pop up, we're still getting 5-star gear. So this is, I think, the highest damage I've ever gotten on a guild boss run. And I actually think the fire one's the hardest, so I probably could redo the water and the wood ones and just see if I can get some more damage. But you can see here, legendary piece, 5-star gear at level 34 chest. It's kind of pitiful to see that type of reward for you putting that much effort in, building the whole comp, gearing up your units. So just to give you an idea, and there's the damage chart when I wanted to pull up. It is 1.5 million almost exclusively Erzag. There is no one else on this team that actually does damage. They're all there to boost Erzag's damage and support him. Now remember, if you don't have William, you're not going to get those counter attacks. You're not going to get the extra basic attack damage. If you don't have Zitlin, you're not going to basically double your damage essentially here. If you don't have Yolanda, you're not going to get the attack up 2 in the bonus turns as well. They all work very specifically in this comp, so make sure you have all the pieces if you can get them. You can replace some of the pieces, like if you don't have Yolanda, you can run Brand, etc., etc. But hopefully this all gives you an idea of what to run for your guild boss if you are interested in pushing it, because it is a pretty fun game mode to build for. It's just unfortunate that it's not as rewarding as it should be. So that'll be it for this video, and if you did enjoy, be sure to like, subscribe to the channel.